Hey everybody, it's Joseph here for Zenny62. I know it's been a while since I've been on here. I wanted to share this with you. It's my second dose of the COVID vaccine at Dodger Stadium, and here we go. So what you're seeing now is the infamous or famous 110 freeway, which was one of the first freeways in the country. It was a project that was started by President Roosevelt. And so we're on our way here. We just passed Cypress Park, which is part of Los Angeles, and we're headed towards Dodger Stadium. I chose to film this just to give you some context here. So as we move forward, you see the hill or the small mountain to the right of me, which I'm going to start filming. The reason why I found that interesting to film was as it's kind of been one of those urban legends that inside that mountain there was a living dinosaur. And it's something that was told to kids because occasionally, because of the seismic activities, the earth would move and shift. And of course, you know, when you're a kid and you hear this from your parents, you actually believe there's a dinosaur living in there. But it was actually seismic shifts within that hill and that mountain area that would shake and twist and actually shift some of the soil everywhere. So as you can see here, we're going down to Dodger Stadium. You get the front view of downtown Los Angeles. And if we're going to veer off to the right, if you keep going straight and we see that tall building, you head right into Chinatown. So as we're veering off to the right here at this exit, that's one of a few different entrances you could go into Dodger Stadium. Actually, we're not going this way. This is just the exit. And this is one of the side entrances, as I'm pointing out. And again, another view of downtown Los Angeles. We're going to the main entrance of Dodger Stadium. Actually, we're going to pass through there. And so here we're moving up. This is the section, if you remember my first video about a year ago when I first got the test. At that time, as many of you may know, I contracted COVID and it was pretty bad back in November. And so, but last year, about March, I took the test and obviously I was negative then. But you're going to see, the reason why I filmed this is on the right is the parking lot where they initially did the COVID test back in March prior to having a swell of people asking for the test. And that little building under that tree, if the camera's steady enough, was one of the outlets you could purchase tickets. And they still have that infamous Dodger baseball. Here we are in front of the stadium way. That's Vince Scully Avenue right in front of us. And I'll veer out to the right here. And you see, welcome to Dodger Stadium, Vince Scully Avenue. And this is the main entrance to Dodger Stadium. So at this point here, it took us roughly about an hour. My point was 11:50. And obviously waiting in this area exceeded. It was already 12:30 by the time we got to this part of the stadium way. Now the buildings I just showed you, it's an old respiratory sanitarium called Barlow's Respiratory Clinic. It would previously was sanitarium, as I'll show you with the still shot. And for my brief understanding, it was erected quite a few years ago, maybe in the late 40s, early 50s. And it no longer exists, but there was tons of people parked there. It is somewhat of a little landmark. This you see here is just a park here. It's called Leisure Park. I'm showing this because as I was a kid, it was a really rough area. They cleaned it up quite a bit. It was very gang infested when I was a kid. It's a beautiful area though, beautiful park. For fun, I remember my dad used to drive us through here at night with all these spooky looking trees and put off his headlights and tell us ghost stories. So I thought that was funny. My dad was quite a character. So here's one of the side entrances to Dodger Stadium. I believe this part is called the Golden Gate Park area. And that's just one of the side entrances, I don't know what they named it. It's very seldom used, actually, this part of the stadium. And so I'm assuming that's why they chose to actually have us go through here. As we know, the Major League Baseball is in full swing now. Now, this girl was actually looking at your information and marking your windows to let everybody know how many appointments you had scheduled. And of course, here is none other than Blue Heaven on Earth, Dodger Stadium. And just showing you some shots here. I'll make reference to it a little bit later. And trying to self-edit as we go along. Here's the stalls where you pay for your ticket, and those have been erected since I was a kid. Who knows how long they've been there. And the reason why I filmed this, I wanted to show you how much prices have changed for parking. And here's the still. $50 for preferred parking, general 25, and oversized 50. Now, I'll give you a little hint. If you do have a handicap placard, you can pay for general. Wait.
It's time for Dodger Baseball.
Sorry about that. I had to pause for Vin. Thank you, Vin. Scully, the famous Vin Scully, who's 90 years old presently. So this is the maze I wanted to show you. This was torture. We actually spent about 2.5 hours through this maze, and I'm going to edit everything down, but I just wanted to give you again some more context. And one of the reasons why, if you remember when we first got in, when you see the stalls where you pay for your ticket, it winds around in this unbelievable maze. And purposely that was done, I believe, to give enough time for the 15-minute wait time in between vaccination shots and by the time you're able to leave. So this is getting pretty close to the vaccination site. And like I said, it's been about close to 3 hours at this point. And they're waving this down. At this point, it goes relatively pretty quickly, except for getting organized. They check your appointment date and ask you any questions prior to giving you the shot, and you'll be able to see that in a little while. Now, I gotta preface a couple things. It might be a little bad editing here, but they told me several times that I wasn't able to film, and of course, for your viewing pleasure, I was able to shoot as much as possible, and actually was able to get that car right there in front of us shot. This kid that was walking by actually turned around and told me I can't film. But that same lady that gave me that shot, here it is, gave me the shot, and she said I could film.
Okay.
And I can massage it the day after when it's sore, correct?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes,
Is there a certain way I should do it at all?
No, just working it in.
Okay.
Any way you can move the muscle. Go ahead and relax your arm the best you can. Just let it flop, because your muscle, it goes into your muscle. So the looser you have it, the easier it's going to be. Right.
That's not bad at all. I think the first one was worse.
You might have been a little tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it hurts when it's a little
Okay, so we just wait here 15 minutes?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And if you have any questions, just beep your horn.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Lots of water. Drink lots of water.
Okay. Okay, now I'm done with my second dose. I'll catch up with everybody later. So, starting again here, the caveat with the young lady who gave me the shot was I didn't want to film her. So I was able to flip the camera around to film her. Now this is finally approaching the exit, and what a relief at this point. You know, after we stood there for an additional 15 minutes, we're able to actually exit out, and there you go. Finally, the exit. Now I'm going to show you. This is the if you look at the across the street, we came the opposite direction. You see that sign that I filmed when we're on the other side. Ironically enough, I think the scheduling ended relatively soon, just because I believe there might be a game tonight. So if you look at the huge line that we're in, which you see my fingers are pointing, there's no cars. It's virtually dead. And so we're just heading back the way we came, and the video will end shortly. I do want to say appreciate you taking this look at this important thing that we're doing in history. I thought it was important to document it, and hopefully moving forward you'll be able to see a little bit more of me. You know, I did have a hard time recovering from the vaccine, so I encourage everybody to take it. God bless, and keep it here on 7062, and don't forget to like and subscribe.